Systems word problems. Okay, this is probably going to be the most work we do with systems. There's going to be a lot involved here, but it has gotten dramatically shorter because we're going to do a lot of it with the calculator. So you definitely want your calculator on hand for this. So here are your steps. You're going to define your variables, and I make them all into x and y, especially when I'm going to use the calculator because I'm going to put it in y equals mx plus b. You're going to write your two equations. That's taking our first lesson. You're going to put them both into y equals mx plus b, then you're going to graph them and solve them in the calculator. So now we're putting everything together, okay? Christian bought some tiger fish at $3 each and some goldfish at $4 each for his new aquarium. If Christian bought a total of 12 fish and spent a total of $40, how many goldfish did he buy? All right, so the first thing we're going to do is define our variables. And I'm just going to do it in order. X is going to be tiger fish at $3 each. There's my value. Y will be the goldfish at $4 each. There's your value. Okay, and then I know he spent a total of $40, right, for 12 total fish. So I know the number of tiger fish, which is X, and you can define your variables just by labeling it, plus the number of goldfish equals 12. Then I'm going to go over in the value. The value of each tiger fish is 3, so that would be 3x plus 4y equaled a total of $40. So money, 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 value, value, value together. So I'm going to solve them both for x now. I'm sorry, solve them both for y. Oh, look at me go. All right, so if I want y by itself, I need to get rid of the x. Can I put that x and that 12 together? Do they have the same last name? No. And that is my problem. That is my y equals problem that I'm going to put into the calculator. Next problem. I want to get y by itself. So I need to get rid of the 3x. I cannot put the 40 and the 3x together because they do not have the same last name. Then I'm going to divide by 4, divide by 4, and divide by 4. Now, here's the beauty of this. You actually don't even have to simplify. You can leave this problem and plug in this just by itself. But me being a math nerd, that's going to kill me. So 40 divided by 4 is 10. Plus, it's a little bit neater. So these are the two problems you're going to enter into the calculator. And then we're going to do it just like the graphing notes that we did, the same calculator instructions. So I'm going to go back over there and remind y'all of those. So right here are your graphing instructions. The calculator instructions are right here. They're the exact same ones. So I will actually take these and move them over to the notes. So let's go into our calculator and let's solve these both. Clear your calculator first. I'm going to go to y equals and I'm going to enter both equations. Negative x plus 12. And then my second equation was negative. Make sure you're entering the negative sign and not the minus sign. Negative 3/4x. To do your fraction, you enter division symbol. Plus 10. And there's my two equations. Then you hit second trace 5 because we're looking for where they intersect, where they are the same. Do I see the equation on here? Yes. So I'm going to hit enter, enter, enter. And my point of intersection is 8, 4. Remember, if you don't see the point of intersection on the screen, then you have to zoom out. So my answer is 8, 4. So I'm going to write it a little bit different because I want to remember that x equals 8 and y equals 4. So that's 8 tiger fish and 4 goldfish. And it wanted to know how many goldfish did he buy. So it would be this answer right here would be your answer to the problem because it wanted to know how many goldfish. But you're solving them both at the same time. So then you go back and actually like highlight what you need or answer what you need if it's multiple choice. Problem number 2. Emily bought 20 season passes for a total of $450. Adult were $26. Child were $21, and that was a total of $450. She bought 20 total passes for adult and child. So I'm going to label these just the order they are in here. X is the adult and Y is the child tickets. So I know that X plus Y equals a total of 20 tickets. Then you deal with the value. The value of each X is 26X plus the value of each child is 21Y for a total of $450. So here's your money amount, your money amount, your money amount. And man, I wish season passes only cost like $26. I wonder where she's going. All right, so let's get these into Y equals so we can put them in the calculator. I'm going to subtract X. We can't put them together because they don't have the same last name. So there is your first equation to plug into the calculator. This one's going to be a little bit longer, if you can tell. It's going to take us a little bit more work, and it's going to be a lot uglier. But don't worry, because it's actually going to be easier than we're used to, because you don't have to reduce fractions or anything. Okay. I cannot put the negative 26 and the 450 together because they don't have the same last name. So I'm left with negative 26x plus 450. And then when the 21 and the y are right next to each other, they're multiplying. To get rid of multiply, you divide. Now, these are ugly, and I'm not even going to make y'all reduce. This is it. This is your y equals. Once you've divided, this is literally what you're putting in the calculator right there. Y equals all of that is what you're going to enter into the calculator to get your answer. You don't have to reduce on these because the question is how many child tickets were sold. So that's all we need to know. So I'm going to go to my calculator. I'm going to go to y equals. I'm going to clear whatever is in there because I don't want my problems to overlap, and I'm going to enter it. Negative x plus 20 for my first problem. My next one is negative 26x, or I'm sorry, let's do negative 26 divided by 21. I like to keep that fraction together. X plus 450 divided by 21. So there's a lot more like calculator issues that can go on here, but it's still a lot easier. You're going to hit zoom 6 for the standard window, or you could just hit graph. And I don't see the point of intersection. I can't see where the two lines intersect. So I'm going to have to zoom out, and zoom out would be 3, or you could scroll down. And you have to hit enter after you zoom out. Now I can see the point of intersection. I can't read it because it's so zoomed out, but that's okay because you're going to have the calculator do it when you go to second trace. We're looking for 5, the intersection point. That's the first line. That's the second line. And do we want it to guess the answer? Yeah. And there's your answer, 6 and 14. Okay, so it is whole numbers, which is what it has to be because it was 20 season passes. So x equaled 6 and y equaled 14. So I'm going to go down here and write this. X equals 6 and y equals 14. And then I'm going to look at the answers. X was adult tickets. 14 was child passes. And so 14 is the answer I was looking for. Child. Okay. So this is a lot easier than the other methods we used to have to use, and it works on a lot of questions. Now, this number 3 is a lot of one that students get stuck on. So let's get started on it. Jose is thinking of 2 numbers. So 2 numbers. Their sum, and sum is when we add, is 65. Their difference is when we subtract is 17. What are they? Well, I don't know. I have 2 things that represent 2 numbers, an x and a y. Okay, that's my variables, x and y. I don't know what they are. Their sum is 65. So when I add that x and that y together, I'm going to get a 65. And when I subtract it, I'm going to get a 17. And it doesn't matter which order you put these in because it's going to give you the 2 numbers. That's all it is. Okay, so let's put these both into y equals so we can enter them in our. So I can enter them in the calculator. I'm going to do minus x. So my first one is y equals negative x plus 65. So that'll be the first one to go in the calculator. Then my second problem is going to be, that's a negative 1y. Okay, I want to get that y by itself. So I'm going to circle it. Make sure I put that negative 1 in there so I don't forget it. I'm going to subtract x. So I'm left with negative 1y equals negative x plus 17. When the -1 and the y are right next to each other, they are multiplying. So to get rid of multiply, I'm going to divide. This is the number 2 mistake in math right here, forgetting to divide that second number by the y. So that's going to make that -x a positive and that positive 17 a negative. So these are the two numbers I'm going to enter in the calculator, the two equations, to find out what my two numbers are that Jose is thinking of. So I'm going to go to y equals. I'm going to clear both of these right away because when you type over, it doesn't clear at all, so you got to be really careful. -x plus 65. And remember, guys, if I'm going too fast, stop it, slow down, back it up, slow me down on the speed, okay? I'm talking the playback speed. All right, so now we're going to go to zoom 6 for our standard window, and I don't see where they cross. So I'm going to have to zoom out, which is number 3, and you have to hit enter after you zoom out. Ooh, I still don't know if I see the intersection point. I think that might be it, but I'm not positive. So I'm going to zoom out again because remember, I'm not actually reading it off of here. I just need to be able to see it so the calculator can trace it. So I'm going to hit second, trace, 5, enter for the first line, enter for the second line. Do I want it to guess the answer? Yep. And it's 41 and 24 are our two numbers. 41 and 24 are our two numbers. So I'm just going to go down there and write those. 41 and 24. I'm not going to label them as X and Y because they weren't technically a variable we had to define, like one number, second number, or whatever. All right, number 4. The Soccer Booster Club's pancake supper was a huge success. The Lewis family of 9 paid $28 for 9 tickets. Adult tickets cost $4.50 each and child tickets cost $2 each. How many adult tickets did the Campbell family buy? I think that's supposed to be the Lewis family. Okay, but that's okay. Typo. So let's go on ahead and solve this. I'm going to first say, okay, it's a family of 9. So 9 is my total of my adult tickets, which is X, and my child tickets, which is Y. So my X plus Y is going to equal 9. Then I'm going to look at the value. It's $28. Adults were $4.50 and child's were $2. So each X is worth $4.50 plus $2 for each Y for a total of $28. Now let's put them both into y equals. If I want that y by itself, I have to get rid of the x. I cannot put the 9 and the x together because they don't have the same last name. And then we'll go over and solve our second one. I want to get that 2y by itself, so I need to get rid of the 450. Ooh, this is going to be an ugly, but you know what? I ain't got to reduce, so that's okay. I can just type it in the calculator and let it do all the work for me. I can't put the -450 and the 28 together because they don't have the same last name. Now, to get y by itself, when the 2 and the y are next to each other, they're multiplying. To get rid of multiply, I divide. And y'all can stop there and just plug this into the calculator right here. You don't have to simplify. Okay, you can let the calculator do the work. If you do want to simplify, you're just dividing them both in half. So that would be -225x plus 14. But I'm just going to enter this one in. I'm not going to take a chance. There's a chance I divided wrong, and I don't want to take that chance. So I'm going to go to the calculator. I'm going to clear everything in my y equals, and I'm going to enter these two equations. Remember, the negative sign, not the minus sign. -450 divided by 2. So divided by gives you your fraction bar. X plus 28 divided by 2. And we need to zoom 6 so we see the correct window or graph. And I see the point of intersection, so I'm going to hit second, trace, 5, enter, enter, enter. And my answer is x equals 4 and y equals 5. So I'm going to go down here and write x equals 4 and y equals 5. Then I'm going to look for what it's asking. Adult tickets. So it wants to know the number of adult tickets, and adult was X. So my answer would be 4 adult tickets. And that's the answer it's actually looking for. Now these notes are a little longer than general notes because they do take a little bit more time, and we do spend a little bit more time on them in class. But I'm going to go on ahead and finish the next two in these notes. Okay. This one you will see a lot. Number 5 is definitely a key term, or a key problem. The perimeter of a rectangle is 110 centimeters. The length is 1 centimeter more than twice the width. Find the length and the width. So just to remind you guys, I'm going to draw a little rectangle up here. Okay. And perimeter is the distance around it. You have 2 lengths and 2 widths, which means perimeter is going to equal 2 lengths plus 2 widths. Okay, and this is very, very key. You will see this a lot on these types of problems. So the perimeter is 110 centimeters. So I know that 2 lengths plus 2 widths equals 110 centimeters. That is my perimeter. Okay, the length is, so length is means equals 1 centimeter more. So that means 1 centimeter more than twice the width. Twice the width is 2W. So on this one, my length is going to equal 2W plus 1. So this one's a little bit different because we're using L and W. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to change that, and I'm going to make my L and my W X and Y. X, oops. Of course. Okay. X and Y. X equals 2Y plus 1. So I've just changed them to make it easier on me for my calculator. If I want to get that 2y by itself, I'm going to subtract 2x. So 2y equals negative 2x plus 110. Divide by 2, divide by 2, divide by 2. And you don't have to reduce. That's it. Plug it into y equals. I'm not asking you for the equation. I'm asking you for the answer. Okay? Then we're going to go over here, and if I want to get this 2y by itself, I'm going to minus 1, minus 1. I'm left with x minus 1 equals 2y. Divide by 2. And that is your answer. That's what's going to go in the calculator. It's not pretty, but it doesn't have to be as long as your answer is. So let's go to y equals. So let's clear both of these because it will not clear them as we type. You have to do it yourself. So negative 2 divided by 2x. Is it okay to simplify these? Yes. Is it okay not to? Yes. Then I'm going to do down arrow to go to the next one. I'm going to do x divided by 2, which is 1/2 x technically, minus 1 divided by 2. I'm going to hit zoom 6 to see the standard window. And I don't see where they intersect on there, so I'm going to zoom 3 to zoom out and hit enter. Remember, you have to hit enter. Now I see where they intersect. So I'm going to hit second, trace, 5, enter, 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 and it's 37 and 18. So I'm going to come down here and I'm going to write that down. X equals 37 and y equals 18. 37 for x. X is my length. So 37 is the length and 18 is the width. And it wanted to know both of them. So that's the width and the length. And the units are centimeters. I left that off after the answer, so that's okay. So this one would actually be your answer. These are tougher problems, but you will always reduce this one pretty much the same way. Okay? It's always going to be 2 lengths and 2 widths for your perimeter. Number 6. 2 customers went to a post office to buy postcards. Now this is an actual old star question. Buy postcards in large envelopes. Each postcard costs the same amount and each large envelope costs the same amount. The first customer paid $12 for 14 postcards and 5 large envelopes. The second customer paid $24.80 for 10 postcards and 15 large envelopes. What was the cost in dollars of each large envelope? So we're not going to worry about that. We're going to worry about writing the equation. And these are a little bit different because we're not doing value, value, value. We're looking at if this person spent this much and this person spent this much, how much was each item? We don't know how much each item cost. So I'm going to come over here And I'm going to make postcards X and large envelopes Y. And I have my problems written right for me. 14X plus 5Y equals a total of $12. Then my second equation is 10X plus 15Y. So 10X plus 15Y equals 2480. Okay? So now let's put these into Y equals. These are big, ugly problems, guys. So if I want that 5Y by itself, I'm not going to get as detailed here because we're getting towards the end. I've stated it a lot, why they don't go together. And then I'm going to divide by 5 because they are multiplying. And these are my two problems. This is what I'm entering in the calculator right here. You don't have to go any further. That's it. Make it simple on yourself. Now we're going to go do our second problem. We want to get that 15Y by itself. So we're going to minus 10X. 2480 and 10X don't go together because they have the same last name. Okay. You're going to divide by 15 and whoa, this is ugly, but that's okay because I can type in the calculator. I can type in. I ain't got to get all technical. I can type in just fine. So I'm going to type this into the calculator. So there are our two problems. So we'll take out our calculator and we will type it in. I'm going to make it, let's go to Y equals, clear them both. And we should have negative 14 divided by 5x. Don't forget to use this as your key right here. This is your variable key. Plus 12 divided by 5. And then our second equation is really ugly. Negative 10 divided by 15x plus 24.80 divided by 15. And the reason I'm not putting any of these division signs or these fractions in parentheses is because they are going to be PEMDAS. They're going to be solved first before the addition or subtraction. And then I need to look at my graph. I see where they intersect, so I'm going to hit second, trace, 5, enter, 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 and I have that x equals 35. So let me go write that down. X equals 0.35 and y equals 1.42. And it wants to know cost of each large envelope, and that would be my y value. So each large envelope cost $1.42. That would be what I answered on my multiple choice problem. Last problem right down here, and this one is going to be an ugly one. This one was actually a fill in the blank problem on a STAR test years back. So you will definitely see problems like this. A manager purchased a total of 21 coffee mugs and keychains. So I'm going to stop right there, X and Y. Each coffee mug cost $8.50. So each X was $8.50 and each Y was $2.75 for a total of $132.50. How many coffee mugs did the manager buy? So he had 21 total. So I know that X plus Y equals 21. Then the cost of each X is $8.50X plus $2.75Y for a total of $132.50. Whoa, that's going to be ugly to type in, but that's okay because we can let the calculator do the work. So if I want to get Y by itself, I've got to subtract X. And I've said it 1,000 times. They don't go together because they don't have the same last name. So that's going to go in the calculator. And here goes this doozy of a problem. We're going to minus 850x. And this is what we're getting by itself. So just lots of decimals. We can't put these together because they don't have the same last name. Oops, sorry. So I'm left with 275y equals negative. And it really doesn't matter which order you write these because it's not your answer. You're just going to put them in the calculator, but I still want to do proper form because I'm me and I'm a nerd. And this is the second problem we're going to enter in the calculator. So that is definitely a lot. I'm going to scroll to the side on this one actually so that you guys can see the two problems as I'm entering it in the calculator. All right, well, as close as I can get it. All right, so I'm going to go to y equals And I'm going to hit clear. And my first equation is going to be negative x plus 21. And again, you can enter that one on as the second equation. It doesn't really matter, but to me, it's a lot easier. I just keep it in order for I guess, order's sake, for organizational sake. I don't forget it. Plus, okay, 132 50 divided by 275. Okay, so we're going to hit zoom 6 to look at the standard window, and I don't see any lines on there, so I'm going to zoom out, zoom 3, and I'm going to hit enter, and I see where they intersect now. So I'm going to hit second, trace, 5. I'm going to hit enter, enter, enter for a total of x equals 13 and y equals 8. So I got that x equals 13 and y equals 8. All right, so 13 and 8 equals 21. So that means x is coffee mugs and y is keychains. And the problem is looking for coffee mugs. So it would be 13 is the answer you would enter in.